So, it's the big day at Ching Academy, the profession awakening ceremony. Everyone's hyped, right? Future heroes, magicians, dragon tamers, and then there's Yechuan. The light flashes, the system chimes, and boom! Divine tier life profession, pig butcher. Yeah, the entire academy lost it. They thought the system was trolling him. But here's where it gets wild. His stats? Insane. His skills? All buffed against pigs. And the funniest part? To Yechuan, everyone looks like a pig. Turns out, he's got this weird condition, a messed up spine pressing on his brain, and now he literally sees the world as one giant pig farm. People mocked him, called him useless. But the moment someone tried to test him, one glare from Yechuan and even the academy's top student froze, like a roast on display. Every pig he slaughters, more power, more strength, more chaos. The world laughs at him, but Yechuan just grins, because in his eyes, they're all pigs. And I know for a fact, he's gonna farm the shit out of them. Anyway, the sauce of the manhwa is the pig-slaughtering blade that pierces all realms. Comment oink oink if you want part 2. Enjoy. This epic manhwa starts with the hospital, in the psychiatry department. The doctor assessed a patient who saw every living being looked like a pig. The man nodded his head. She thought he was kidding. She stuck her tongue out and asked if he saw her as a pig too. It was like she was teasing and seducing the young boy. But our not-simp MC replied yes. The man looked unwell, especially with his eyes having small pupils. He saw the doctor as a pig with eyeglasses and wearing a lab coat. The doctor expressed that it was the first time she heard something like that. At the same time, she finds him handsome. She unbuttoned her shirt and approached him. She wanted to check if his manhood was still functioning properly. She asked what he's seeing right now. Deep inside her, she refused to be seen as a pig. But when she revealed her chest to him, he only saw 2 pigs. She was surprised, and that confirmed that he really was a psychopath. She then informed him that his spine has a serious issue. She informed him that there was a part where it was severely deformed, even a bit twisted, and it pressed on his optic nerves. After knowing the cause, he wanted to ask for the solution. They could do a spinal correction surgery, but the success rate was low. If it fails, he could be paralyzed from the neck down. He was in a daze for a bit. Then he asked her if she's done talking. And he asked if he could have his spine back. She couldn't believe that he treated the model as his own spine. She thinks it was such a shame since he was really handsome. After that, he left and rode a bus. He was carrying a folder which states, "Severe mental disorder," and he didn't bother to hide it so people were glancing at him. This person was Yechuan. Since he can remember, everything he sees looks like a pig. It could be because his parents were pig butchers that it doesn't really affect his life, except when it comes to dating. It was the day when they were to awaken their class, and he hoped to fix his illness before his awakening. But it looked like it's not going to happen. He arrived at the Ching Academy class awakening ceremony. He wondered if his illness would affect the awakening. If so, it would be a huge problem. Suddenly, a girl called him. She was waiting for him. If he was late, she would actually beat him up. He saw her as a pig, so he was slightly repelled when she was acting cute. He didn't answer. Then someone asked a girl named Shu Ling Xuan on why she's clinging to him again. They were always so lovey-dovey. Some people called them childhood sweethearts and expected them to get married and have kids right after awakening. It made Ling Xuan blush. She told Chuan to just ignore them. But deep inside, Chuan was creeped out. Later on, everyone was instructed to line up according to their student number because the awakening ceremony was about to begin. It was the time to show the results of everything they had learned at school. Their awakening would be based on their strength, agility, and spirit. The higher their stats, the greater the chance of awakening a high-tier class. Everyone was told to focus all their strength during the awakening. The class they will awaken would affect their entire life. If someone awakens as a high-tier combat class, it's basically defying fate, causing them to earn the admiration of all, and it would bring endless glory to Ching Academy. They had begun. Students would one by one place a hand on the stone platform. The first student did it. Then it showed that he would be a life class, an immediate fitter. He was terrified of that result. The next student was classified as Life Class Advanced Mason. The one after him was a Life Class Low-Tier Engineer. The succeeding student became more nervous. His hand trembled as he approached the stone. The stone emits a golden light and revealed that he's a combat class, Rare-Tier Shadowblade Master. Everyone was surprised since it was a rare tier. The principal asked his name. He was Liu Jinglong. This fucker's expression suddenly became smug now. The principal told him to rest for the time being, and later he would visit his home to discuss his future career plans. Jinglong thanked him and left. The students were so impressed with him. Chuan was next. Ling Xuan cheered for him. The principal knew that he's somewhat strange, but he also had unusually high stats. Most people have a total of around 3, but he had 10, 3 times the average. He assumed that something incredible would happen. When Chuan placed his hand on the stone, it glowed brightly in purple and emitted a powerful energy around him. The principal couldn't believe it. Then it revealed that he was God tier. Chuan was shocked. They still couldn't read the whole revelation because of the strong wind. They all thought it was a divine talent. When the wind had settled, the principal was mortified that it was life class, God tier pig butcher. The students started laughing at him. They couldn't even believe that such a dumb class exists. The principal, Zhao Mingping, felt humiliated. After being in the position for so long, he finally saw a God tier class, but the most useless one, a pig butcher. He wished it could have been just a blacksmith, a physician, or alchemist. Either of those would have brought him glory already. He realized that the greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. He thought that the kid would blow them away, but turns out he was a big failure. The principal could only sigh. He has no words for him. Suddenly, something caught Chuan's attention. A system came out. It showed his stats. He's a Tier 1 apprentice with 5 strength, 3 agility, 2 spirit. His talents were Nemesis of the Pig Clan, Blade of Gods, and his class skill was Blood Shadow Butcher level 1. The Nemesis of the Pig Clan deals 50% extra damage to pigs. Each pig killed increases this talent's bonus by 1%. Damage taken from pigs was halved. The Blade of Gods makes his weapon of choice his pig-killing blade. Each pig slain with it grants 0.1 free attribute points. The Blood Shadow Butcher makes the pig butcher release their killing intent, forcing pigs into a 1-second fear state. He carefully read through it. The skills caught his attention. It made him conclude that being crazy has perks. Because in his eyes, the world was full of pigs. Chuan got down from the stage. Everyone was making fun of him. One of them commented that the Qingcheng Academy only has one true dragon, and that was Jinglong. Ling Xuan approached him to comfort him. She patted his head while telling him that his skill was like inheriting his father's legacy. The guys who saw that died from envy. She assured him that his father and her father would be happy for him. They had been neighbors since they were little. Both their parents are from the life class, and they always tried to pair them. The principal called Ling Xuan. Before she comes up to the stone, she wonders if she'll inherit her mom's tailor profession or her dad's brewer profession. She promised him that no matter what class she awakens, she'll always stay by his side. He was left dumbfounded. She placed her hand on the stone. Instantly, it emitted a strong gust of wind. She was horrified at what she saw, while the principal was shocked to see the legendary profession. She was a combat class, legendary Snow Soul Sword Immortal. The principal couldn't believe she awakened a legendary class combat, especially when both of her parents were life class. He concludes that it was a mutation. This girl now exudes a great aura around her body. The principal then assured her that whatever she needs in the future would be provided by the Qingcheng Academy. She thanked him for that. The students started gossiping about how her friend was a pig butcher, and now she's a legendary combat class. They wondered if she would still cling to Chuan. They expected him to get left behind or have the awareness to stay away from Ling Xuan. Chuan congratulated her, but then she called his name coldly. Then she looked down at him while admitting that they had some misunderstandings before. But she assumed that it should be cleared up by then, especially now that they weren't from the same world anymore. He was left speechless. Jinglong and his friend kept smirking. Chuan simply replied, "Okay," like it didn't bother him. Then she told him that he doesn't have to act strong. She added that he's just a pig butcher, so he'll never accomplish anything great, so he doesn't have to blame her. She hoped that he wouldn't bother her again. He replied that if there's nothing else, he'll be going. He left feeling relieved that he had gotten rid of that pig head. Jinglong asked Ling Xuan if she wanted him to teach him a lesson and show him his place. They both had this evil look on their faces. Jinglong called the pig butcher. He was surprised that Chuan just ignored him, so he furiously grabbed his arm. Chuan glared at him and asked what he wanted. Jinglong was intimidated, that it made him stagger backwards. He couldn't understand what happened. The look in Chuan's eyes made him feel like he was a pig, tied up on the chopping block about to be slaughtered. Everyone laughed at him, while his friend approached him and asked what was wrong. Jinglong became angrier. He attacked him for glaring at him. Chuan countered his attack, and their fist met at the center. Then it left Jinglong with excruciating pain. He cradled his broken fist. Everyone was surprised and confused about what just happened. Jinglong couldn't believe that a pig butcher would do that. Chuan argues that it's natural for a pig butcher to have a strong grip strength. They couldn't believe what happened at Jinglong's hand. Jinglong screamed that he'll kill him. He materialized a sword. Now that Jinglong was serious, that brat was as good as dead. They expected Chuan to suffer greatly since he picked a fight with a combat class. Jinglong threatened Chuan that his long blade could slice through steel pipes like nothing. He planned to cripple him right there and then. But his sword froze. His whole body wouldn't move. He asked Ling Xuan why she helped him. She warned him to stop it. She didn't want them to fight just because of her. Then she emphasized to Chuan how they're no longer from the same world. She told him that it would be the last time that she'd help him, so he could think of it as saying goodbye to the past. Then she ordered him to leave. She meant for him to leave Qingcheng because if Jinglong sought revenge again, she would no longer help him. He yawned and replied that if there's nothing else, he'll be leaving already. They saw how he didn't care at all. Chuan walked on a busy street. A dog barked at him. He saw the woman holding the leash as a pig, and the dog looked like a hairy pig too. The dog, whom he accidentally referred to as a pig, bit on his pants. He told the woman to move it away because it was blocking his path. The woman was offended that he called it a pig. Chuan just took this chance to test his theory. He inhaled deeply. Then he kicked the dog. The dog trembled and its mouth frothed while the woman cried out of worry. The system window appeared. It notified him of a level increase by 0.1% from the slaughtered one small pig. The nemesis of the pig clan bonus damage also increased by 1%. Just as he thought, it worked. The woman attacked him for bullying her and her son. She was determined to fight him to death. He told the woman he's mentally ill. He showed him the papers, and it made the woman stop. He told her that if there's nothing else, he'll be going. The woman realized that since he's a psycho, aside from killing her dog, he would have killed her too, and her death would have been in vain. She acted nicely instead and told him to take care of his health. At Ye Chuan's home, his parents received the news that he had awakened as a pig butcher. He confirmed that. They told him that there's nothing wrong with being a simple, honest pig butcher, that it was way better than all that fighting and killing. His dad planned to take him to the slaughterhouse to have him get accustomed to the profession, lurking outside their house. His parents were in bed too when a shadowy figure appeared on their window. Chuan's father informed this figure that his son was just a plain pig butcher, so they should stop disturbing their lives. The shadow figure replied that no one would have expected that the son of Ghost Cry would turn out to be a pig butcher. It questioned Ye Qiyuan if the kid was really his biological son. It made him open his eyes. He held back his anger. He warned the shadow figure to stop coming there or else he won't be polite next time. The shadow figure told him not to be so angry, and if his son was just really a pig butcher, then the organization won't bother him anymore. Then the shadow figure vanished. The next day at the slaughterhouse, Qiyuan came with his son. He told him that a good pig butcher starts with a good knife. He let his son choose a knife that feels best in his hands. Chuan inspected the knife and chose one that felt right. It registered on the system that he chose a pig-killing knife. With that, the blade of the gods had been activated. Each pig killed with the blade will grant 0.1 free attribute points. Then, Qiyuan told him that the first step as a pig butcher was to learn how to use his knife. There was a hanging pig in front of them that squealed loudly. Qiyuan told Chuan to aim for the weak spot and kill it with one hit. He urged him to give it a try. Chuan slashed the pig. The pig's eyes rolled. Then the system notified him that he killed one normal flying pig with a butcher knife. He received 1% Pig Slayer extra damage and 1% free attribute points. Qiyuan praised him. But he also noticed that his aim wasn't quite good enough for a one-hit kill. He needed to aim for the main artery in the neck. Chuan replied, "Okay." Qiyuan thinks that butchering pigs was boring for his age, so he had to emphasize the importance of it, because it was their livelihood. Chuan asked if he could kill all the pigs in the pen. It made Qiyuan laugh. He was pleased with his boy's enthusiasm. He responded with the same eagerness by offering the pigs over at Uncle Li and Uncle Chen. Chuan hit a pig, and the system notified him of level increase to rank 2. He continued to hit them until he reached rank 3 quickly. He butchered another one, which increased his level to rank 4. When he was done, he killed a total of 49 normal pigs. The Pig Slayer extra damage increased by 100%. All 3 stats increased from 10 to 15. By then, he reached rank 5 apprentice. A butcher approached Qiyuan to ask if that was his son. He saw that the kid had gotten addicted to the job because he just finished a whole week's worth of work. Qiyuan let out a small laugh. He wasn't surprised since his son was a god-tier butcher. Meanwhile, Chuan was thinking of how he had gotten the hand of the butcher knife already. It led him to think that it was time to leave the slaughterhouse and see the outside world. So the next day, he packed his bag. In their world, the myriad races of the heavens stand tall, and demons run rampant. Humanity no longer has separate nations. They have formed the Human Federation, divided into 9 special zones. The city of Qingcheng was located in the borderlands into the 5th special zone. He went to the border. The guard saw that he had a life skill class, so he was told to stay within 1 kilometer radius. If he went any further, he'd be in serious danger. The guard asked if he understood, and he replied yes. He was alone in the forest when something rustled behind him. A goblin jumped out. It still looked like a pig to him, but he was able to determine that it was a goblin based on its color. It was a good chance to test out the Blood Shadow Butcher. When the skill got activated, the goblin got scared. But in an instant, Chuan beheaded it. The system notified him of killing a goblin pig. He obtained plus 5% Pig Slayer extra damage and plus 1% 0.1 free attribute points. So, the stronger the pig he killed, the bigger the boost he gets. It made him think. His teacher always said that if they spot one goblin, it means a whole group had already spotted them. He saw it as a chance to have a huge boost. He was ready for those goblin pigs. The goblins came out and attacked. He skillfully slashed them, and even reached their backlines. The last standing goblin trembled. It got scared from the looks in his eyes, so it ran away. He followed it and reached the goblin cave. He entered the cave looking thrilled. The goblin made loud sounds one after another. Eventually it got silent as all of them got slaughtered. The system notification showed his stats. He levels up to rank 6 apprentice. His strength, agility, and spirit all increased to 25. Plus, he got Pig Slayer extra damage to pigs at 120%. He heard a sound behind him. He turned to where it came from. He saw a wooden door and kicked it. He entered inside and saw a woman tied up with a pacifier on her mouth. The baby goblins want to get milk from her. She was trembling and crying as she hoped for the man to save her. She watched him. Chuan raised his knife. In her head, she begged him not to kill her. She braced herself for the attack, but instead, he targeted the baby goblins. The rope was cut off too, and it surprised her. Chuan crouched down and told her to stop screaming because the goblins were already dead. She glanced at them. Then she hugged him and thanked him for saving her. She almost got ruined by those goblins. He clarified that he didn't come there to save her. She saw the corpses and asked them if he killed all of those. Then she inquired if he was a combat class. Lastly, she asked what his name was. He told her his name. Then instructed her that when she exited the cave, she should head left and she'll reach the city. The forest became dark. She stopped walking and hid behind a tree. She was surprised when he suddenly approached her and asked why she's following him. It led him to think that she was a spy sent by the goblins. She screamed loudly. Then she clarified that she just didn't want to go back alone. He asked what her name was and why she was there. She replied that her name was Xiananan. Then she explained that in a few days, it would be her mother's birthday. She originally wanted to find a blood moon flower as a gift for her, but she didn't expect to be caught by goblins. She offered him a deal. If he helps her find the blood moon flower, she'll help him find Qingcheng's best blacksmith to make him a new blade. He inquired if she knew how much it would cost. Her silence told him that she doesn't, so she ordered her to just go back. He threatened to cut her if she kept following him. She felt bad that, even with her beauty, the guy treated him coldly. It made her think that he was mentally ill. She asked him if she knew who she was. She revealed that her father was Xiabeha. He recognized that name. He's one of Qingcheng's 4 top aristocratic powers, and he was a 9th-rank master-class transferee. He was one step away from being a grandmaster. It made him interested. If that was true, with her father's wealth, having him forge 10 top-tier pig butcher blades wouldn't be a problem. She showed him the Ji clan's protective token. It was a defensive measure that her father gave her. Even climbing a pond realm transferee couldn't hurt her in the slightest, but those goblins were so cunning that she got caught by their surprise and got captured. The goblins couldn't get close to her, so they locked her up instead. Chuan inspected the item carefully and confirmed that it truly was a Jia clan product. He was so close that it made her blush. Our boy believed her and told the lady that he'll help her find the blood moon flower as long as she helps him get a top-tier butchering knife. They shook hands to close the deal. Then she brought out a map that she bought. It marked the location of the blood moon flower. But wherever there's a blood moon flower, there's a blood python, so it's extremely dangerous. According to the Wilderness Survival Guide, the blood moon python has power comparable to a 9th-rank apprentice. She was unsure if he could handle that, but it made him excited, since he hadn't seen a python before. Meanwhile, she doubted if the guy was listening well to her, but she didn't question his strength, since he single-handedly wiped out an entire goblin tribe. She assumed that he's a god-tier combat class. He told her to lead the way. She feels that he's reliable and unreliable at the same time. Regardless, she went with him. They hid behind the bushes when they saw a silver-horned rhino. She told him not to provoke it. Once it gets enraged, its strength can rival an 8-rank apprentice. She planned to quietly go around it, but to her surprise, he stood up and gripped his knife. She asked what he was doing. He responded that if it dared to eat grass, it would dare to eat people tomorrow, so they couldn't let it live. His reason didn't make any sense. He charges at it. Before the rhino could even move, he had already slashed it. Then it fell. Nanan was dumbfounded. She couldn't believe that he killed it with one strike. The system notified that he had been promoted to 7th-rank apprentice. He defeated the silver-horned pig, and the nemesis of the pig clan extra damage increased by 122%. He checked his knife and got worried that it wouldn't hold out much longer. Nanan asked him what his class was. He revealed that he was a life-class butcher. She finds it hard to believe since there's no way a life profession could kill a silver-horned rhino in a single strike. He took the horn because it was a valuable material. He suggested that the rhino must have been old, so it died quickly. She could sense that he wasn't lying. She checked, and they're almost at their destination. They went deeper in the forest. Meanwhile, the principal and some other students like Lingzhuan, Jianlong, and the others also entered the forest. They held a field training, and everyone performed well. He was expecting that from the students he handpicked. Then he noticed something was moving. He told them to come out. It was Chuan and Nanan. Chuan wondered why they're there. Zhanglong asked him how he got there. He replied that he was just passing by. That irked Zhanglong. A woman with them doesn't seem to believe him. She suggested that he couldn't get over Lingxuan, that's why he tagged along like glue. That made his eyes widened. This pig-faced bitch was displeased. She told him that she made herself clear last time, that they're from different worlds, so he should just stop clinging onto her, while Zhanglong was pleased that he appeared before him again. He took out his weapon. It glowed differently, which made his friend think that it was a yellow-grade low-tier spirit weapon. It was considered as a true spirit weapon. Principal Mingping couldn't believe that in just a few short days, Jinglong already became a 4th-rank apprentice, and he's refined a yellow-grade low-tier spirit weapon. It confirmed that he didn't misjudge him because he truly was a genius. With his current strength, he could even fight evenly against a 6th-rank apprentice. Lingxuan told Chuan that she won't help him again. Nanan whispered at him to ask if he had any grudges against those people. He asked her how much was a yellow-grade low-tier spirit weapon. She replied that it would probably be a few 100,000. Since he looked unbothered, she asked if he truly understood the situation he's in. Jianglong was annoyed that Chuan stole the spotlight last time, so this time, he wanted it back. He attacked him, to let Lingxuan see him. Chuan blocked the sword using his knife. Everyone was surprised. Jianlong gave his whole strength for Lingxuan to see. He broke the knife in half. He finished his stance with a smile. He couldn't take that a damned pig butcher acted so cocky, so he'll make sure he couldn't even kill pigs anymore. A normal blade was as fragile as paper before a spirit weapon. He couldn't understand why Chuan still provoked him. Chuan simply told him that he doesn't even need a blade to deal with him. It made Jianglong even more furious to the point that his veins bulged out. He replied that he shouldn't blame him for being ruthless. Because he's the one courting death, he attacked him with his sword. Chuan prepared his fist and punched him in the gut before he could hit him, and that sent him flying. Everyone didn't expect that. Zhanglong's friend asked if he's okay. He screamed in pain. Eventually, he was able to mutter that he's fine, but deep inside, he knew he's about to faint. Principal Mingping called Chuan to confirm if he had already reached 7th-rank apprentice. Our MC then picked up Zhanglong's sword. He thinks it looks good. Zhanglong's friend couldn't believe he reached 7th rank when Lingxuan was only at 6th rank. Principal Mingping believed that it was possible. Although the realm divisions were the same for life and combat class, their methods of leveling up were completely different. Combat class had to train hard, fight, get injured, and master battle techniques in the early stages, so their growth was a bit slower at first. But once they had a breakthrough, their growth rate would get faster. On the other hand, life class had it much easier. For example, alchemists and blacksmiths don't need to fight. They just have to pour all their energy into their craft. For instance, Yuan. As a pig butcher, he just needs to kill pigs over and over every day to raise his realm in the early stages. Ling Xuan concluded that he's basically relying on stats his high realm gave him. She thought it was unfair to combat class. Principal Mingping explained that every time Chuan advances a realm, the number of pigs he has to kill doubles. By the time he reaches the Ascension realm, the number of pigs required to advance again will be astronomical. However, once combat professions master fighting techniques early on, they'll advance faster and faster later. Jinglong's friend summarized it as Chuan relies on his higher realm to beat Jinglong. But in a few years, he'll be getting stomped by combat class. The principal confirmed that. Chuan remembered something, so he told them that if there's nothing else, he'll be heading out. Ling Xuan asked him why he went through such lengths. She assumed that he desperately killed pigs to level up and show off to her. Again, she told him that they're in different worlds now, especially that she had been guaranteed a spot at Skydome Academy. At this point, Chuan looked like he's uninterested in what she's saying, but unlike him, Nanan could no longer watch them. She asked if they would ever stop. Then she clarified that Chuan was helping her look for the blood moon flower, and running into them was just bad luck. So she asked them what nonsense they were making up in their heads. The woman with Ling Xuan couldn't believe that someone actually treasures what she had dumped already. Jinglong's friend added that Chuan had no other skills but to pick up women. He assumed Chuan found a new one so quickly. He added that a bitch and dog match perfectly. Unexpectedly, they all receive a slap on the face from Nanan. Principal Mingping couldn't believe he got involved too. Chuan looked at Nanan with an expression that portrays unbelievable, while Ling Xuan got angry that she dared to hit her. She took out her weapon and approached her. She showed her protective charm and dared them to touch her. Principal Mingpin recognized it, so he stopped Ling Xuan. He now understood why the girl was familiar. She was the young lady of the Xia family. He tried to get on her good side and asked what she's doing there. She replied that it was none of his business. Then she pointed out how rude his students were. He assured her that he would discipline them properly when they get back. But she insists on making Ling Xuan apologize to Chuan. Ling Xuan wondered why Xiao Beihai's daughter was with Chuan. Principal Mingpin urged her to apologize. She apologized insincerely. In her head, she wanted to take revenge against them. Chuan told Nanan that they should leave, but Jianglong yelled at him to give back his sword. Chuan told him to take it from him if he had the guts. While Nanan stuck her tongue out to him. It made him so angry. A few moments later, Chuan and Nanan arrived at the area where the trees were dried out. She took out her map and confirmed that they were in the right place. The system notified Chuan that the exclusive pig butchering knife had been selected, so the god-slaying edge had taken effect. Every pig he kills with the knife grants him 0.2 free attribute points. He saw that the attribute points which confirms that choosing a good knife really make a difference. Then he saw Nanan take out 2 balls from her chest. He asked if she had a treasure chest in there. Also, he was curious about the item. It made her blush. Then she explained that the item was called Thunderfire Pearl. If an Ascension Realm expert was caught off guard, a blast from that would be enough to heavily injure them. When the Blood Moon Python arrives, it would be their lifeline. He finds her unbelievable. He decided to go and take a look first. He crossed the cliff easily. Nanan was on the other side, but she already saw the flower, and it wasn't just an ordinary one. It was a blood crystal twin flower. She was happy that they got so lucky. But that immediately turned to fear when she saw the Blood Moon Python behind Chuan. Chuan eventually noticed something. To him, the python had a pig face. He was calm, and he simply asked why it was staring. He even joked that he must not have seen someone pick a flower before. The python was confused with his behavior at first, and he took that chance to dash away. Chuan yelled at Nanan to move and not just stand there. That brought her back to senses. She raised her arms and throws the beads while Chuan jumps across. It hit the python. She asked Chuan if he's all right. Chuan didn't expect for the beads to have such destructive power. It tried to reach them, but it couldn't and fell on the cliff instead. After that, Chuan gave her the blood crystal twin flower. She was happy to have received it that she even blushed. Chuan got curious about what it was used for. She explained that it was a mutated form of the blood moon flower. Ordinary blood moon flowers can slow aging, but the blood crystal twin flower can grant eternal youth. There's no woman in the world who wouldn't wish for timeless beauty. Chuan knew his mom would definitely love that. So he crossed the cliff again. Nanan thought that he's going to get some for her. She was quite pleased. He picked up another flower and placed it in his bag. As soon as he did, a loud hissing sound echoed. The python that fell earlier showed up again. It survived a direct hit from a thunderfire bead. Well, even if not yet at Climbing Pond realm, the Blood Moon Phyton's strength was still infinitely close to the peak of 9th rank apprentice. Chuan asked if she had more beads, but her dad only gave her 1 pair. The python targeted Chuan. He used a blood shadow butcher. The snake saw itself being butchered by him. When it froze, Chuan took the chance to cross the cliff. He asked Nanan why she's just standing there. She replied that she'd waited for him since, after all, he risked his life to pick the other blood crystal flower for her. Chuan clarified that it was for his mom. Her reaction was mixed with surprise, disappointment, and annoyance. The python eventually moved. It opened its mouth really wide. Nanan yelled that they're doomed, while Chuan felt that it was a hassle bringing her. So she threw her far from the python, and he was the only one eaten by it. Nanan saw it and called out to him. The python targeted her. She yelled so loud at him to come out at once, but the python attempted to eat her. That's when Yuan cut through its belly from the inside. The python was in excruciating pain while he cut it in half. Eventually, the python fell. Chuan came out of its body and asked why she's calling him. She ran up to him and hugged him, feeling relieved that he's safe. She didn't want anyone dying because of her. But the stench made her step away from him. It made her comment that he was really close on becoming a python's dung. Then the system screen appeared in front of him to notify him of level increase by 80% and level up to 8 rank apprentice. Nemesis of the Pig Clan extra damage increased by 1%, and he also gained 0.2 free attribution points. He invited her to head back. A few hours later, at the entrance of the city, Nanan was greeted. They were worried that she returned late. The middle-aged man was about to send people to search for her. She happily showed him the flower and was expectant of how happy her mother would be. The middle-aged man replied that she could have just sent the servants to find it because going to the outside of the city was dangerous. She argues that she wanted to personally pick it for her mother and that she had no trouble because Chuan protected her. So, it made him ask who the young man was. Chuan introduced himself. The middle-aged man knew that wherever there are blood crystal flowers, a blood moon python would appear, so he was puzzled why Nanan would choose a life class to protect her. He observed him and considered the possibility that he really killed the blood moon python. The middle-aged man acknowledged that he's promising for his age. So he gave him a gold ring worth 200,000 as a thanks for saving the young lady. But Chuan refused it because he only wanted a pig slaughtering blade. The middle-aged man surely didn't expect that he wouldn't want any treasures, but instead a pig slaughtering blade. He thought that the brat was crazy. Nanan explained that Chuan wanted Ching Cheng's best blacksmith to craft him a spirit weapon because it was what she promised him. He understood and assured her that he will handle it while she goes home first, because her father was already worried sick. She said goodbye to Chuan and promised to find him again. When she left, the middle-aged man warned Chuan not to have any indecent thoughts towards the young lady, otherwise it would end bad for everyone. But to Chuan's eyes, the young lady was just another pighead. He promised not to get tangled with their young lady, as he only wanted a top-tier spirit weapon. Ching Cheng's greatest blacksmith, Master Ti Xin, has a close relationship with the Xia clan. The middle-aged man planned to inform him when he returned, so Chuan could go meet him the next day. Meanwhile, in the forest, someone approached the corpse of the python. This humanoid snake monster saw that someone killed her beast and stole the flower. She vowed to remember his scent. She was furious that her mere presence alone made the other monsters terrified. While inside the city, Chuan went to a shop that buys beast materials at high prices. He informed the staff that he wanted to sell beast materials. The woman didn't expect a skinny kid to bring down a silver-horned rhino. She told him that they would buy it for 10,000 coins. Chuan did the math. His dad earns 100 coins slaughtering 1 pig, and yet the single rhino horn equals slaughtering 100 pigs. Suddenly, something caught his eye. He asked if 10,000 coins could buy the item on display. The woman praised him for having good eyes. It was a golden-scaled soft armor made from the scales of a fireclaw serpent. Not only was its defense incredible, it was also extremely resistant to heat and cold. Unfortunately, it cost 150,000 coins. He was shocked with the price. It meant his dad would need to slaughter 1,500 pigs non-stop to earn that much. Chuan suggested trading the spirit sword instead. The woman was surprised to see a yellow-grade low-tier spirit weapon. She immediately agreed to it and instantly put the armor on his body. She even gave a lip service that the armor was practically custom made for him. She saw how this brat had so many treasures and assumed that he's a high-level combat class. She wanted to seduce him, so she won't have to worry for the rest of her life. She explained that usually there's an exchange fee of 10,000, but since he's handsome, she would waive it for him. She clung to him as she asked what his profession was. But of course, this seduction tactic would never work as she looked like a pig. Our not-simp MC replied that he's a pig butcher. It left her dumbfounded. At the Ye family's home, Chuan gave his gift to his mother. She was pleased with it, but also she was curious how he got it. Then her expression turned to anger, as she asked if he stole it. He explained that he went outside the city and he happened to see snakes fighting when he found the flower on the ground and picked it up. Her expression softened, but still, she warned him that it was dangerous going outside the city, especially when they're just pig butchers. She forbids him to go outside again, while his father was truly proud of him. Suddenly, someone screamed for Chi-Yuan. He checked outside to see who it was. It was Jinglong's father. He was furious that Chuan stole his son's blade. Chi-Yuan told him he was mistaken. Lu Xing was his childhood playmate. Now, he's a 6th-rank climbing Pond Realm transferee, a rising name in town. Because of their status gap, they lost touch when they grew up. He tried to explain that his son was a pig butcher, so there's no way he could steal Jinglong's spirit weapon. When Jinglong saw Chuan, he told his dad. Xing blamed Qiyuan for raising his child poorly. He already confirmed with the principal before coming. He dared him to ask his son if it was true. Qingyuan asked Chuan what was going on. Chuan explained that Jinglong tried to kill him, so he took his blade. And to him, he already let him off easily. Jinglong argued that he only wanted to spar. Xing told Chuan that if he hands over the blade, he won't pursue the matter further for his father's sake. Chuan replied that he already sold it. It made Xing furious. Xing demanded 1 million as compensation. Qiyuan expressed that it was too much for a yellow-grade low-tier spirit weapon because the market price of that was 200,000. Xing left no room for negotiations. Chuan got pissed with his attitude, but his father stopped him. Qiyuan agreed to pay him, but since it was not a small amount, they needed time to gather some money. Xing told his old friend that since he can't discipline his son, he'd teach him a good lesson for him instead. Then, he gave them half a month to gather the money. If they couldn't do it, they were warned to experience his wrath. Jinglong motions at Chuan to tell him he's dead. Chuan's mother asked what they should do. She told her husband to go and beg him properly, especially that he was childhood friends with him. He planned to bring pork to Xing and apologize. Chuan told his dad that he'll handle it. Qingyuan assured him that he'll handle it and that he doesn't blame him because it wasn't his fault to begin with. He wished for his son to rely on them when he faced difficulties. Chuan was thinking how he must get a spirit weapon soon and raise his strength to climb the Pond Realm, then he could face Xing. His mother asked if he's hiding something from them. The flower was so valuable, so there's no way a pig butcher could get it. Since it came to that point, Chuan knew he couldn't hide from them forever. He admitted to his parents that he's not normal. His mother immediately assumed that he's gay. That made him pout. She assured him that they're open-minded and would support his happiness, as long as he stays away from his dad. That left the men with a puzzled look. He replied that he doesn't like women or men, but what he actually wanted to say was that he had a mental condition where he sees all living creatures as pigs. His parents glanced at each other. Then his father had a eureka moment. His son was a pig butcher and had a mental condition where he saw all creatures as pigs, which meant that he can treat every creature as a pig and kill it. Chuan replied yes. His mother realized that he'd be counted as a combat class. Qingyuan agreed. He called him to come with him so he could teach him some real skills. While they were ascending a long staircase, Qingyuan revealed to Chuan that he had created a pig-killing blade technique of his own from his years of experience. He decided to pass it to him so that if someone ever wants to take his life again, he would have a way to defend himself. Chuan had already caused him trouble and put their family in $1 million debt, so he doesn't understand why he's still teaching him. He replied that even if $1 million was a lot, it's nowhere near as important as his son's safety. He told him that it would be simple, but he had to watch carefully because he would only teach him 3 strikes. He prepared himself. He lifted his knife and concentrated his strength on it. Then, he swung the knife. It was like he split the sky. The last position for the move was to bring the knife to his side. Chuan was astonished. He explained that the first strike was called Falling Star. Then he showed him the second strike. He jumped really high and unleashed a wave of power from his knife. It was called the Falling Moon. It was insane. Chuan had to ask how he did that. He explained that it's just surrounding space twisting and folding his vision. Then, for the third strike, it was called Devouring Sun. That created an explosion that shot up to the sky. Chuan doubted that the moves were for killing pigs. He wondered what kind of pigs would be if that was the case. His dad told him that he would need to use it one day, so he had to learn it well. He looked for his pig-killing blade. Chuan replied that it was broken. He made him use his blade for the moment. Chuan struggled to lift it with both hands. He staggered from how heavy it was. Then his dad went to sleep while leaving him to train. He couldn't believe his dad was using such a heavy blade to slaughter pigs all those years. His body trembled as he tried to lift the blade. He lost his balance and fell face down. He did it again. Little did he know that his dad was watching him behind a tree. He had no idea that the moment he stepped into the realm of seallings, those 3 strikes would be able to cut down even the one chosen by heaven. Chuan kept going. He was already out of breath, and the sun was already rising. He was exhausted. His knife. He arrived at the area and stood in front of the iron heart foundry. Master Shin noticed him. This is the blacksmith that was responsible for his weapon. He asked if he's Chuan. Chuan replied yes. He was already informed by Zhao about everything that happened, so he worked through the night to forge the knife that Chuan wanted. He also heard that he was a pig butcher. He didn't expect the Xia family to pay a fortune to have him rush to forge a blade for a pig butcher. It made him curious if he's an illegitimate son or something. He showed the knife. Chuan was about to take it from the box, but he closed the box and told him not to rush. The knife was forged from 1,000-year-old cold iron, a fine material that only appeared after 49 days of forging. It was a yellow rank high grade, which means the knife also recognizes its owner. If Chuan's rank was not high enough, let alone using it, he might not even be able to lift it. Chuan grabbed the handle of the knife, and he was surprised. He was able to lift it without problem. Chuan thought about how it's lighter than his dad's. Master Shin couldn't believe that he lifted an incredible weapon without a sweat. Chuan asked what the knife was called. He replied that it doesn't have a name yet. It belonged to Chuan, so he must be the one to bestow a name upon it. Chuan commented that the Xia family was truly wealthy. He decided to name the knife Dragon Slayer. Master Shin laughed at how cliché it was. Now that he had his knife, he planned to hunt some monsters to earn some money. He went to the walls. He was hoping to advance to first-rank Dengtang realm so he would have a chance to deal with Xing. He passed by an injured man being supported by his friend. The injured man expressed that lately, there had been a lot of foreign creatures and fierce beasts around the area, and they're attacking people like crazy. It was strange. His friend agreed and shared that he walked past a plated ground ox which was usually harmless, but earlier, it chased him for 10 miles. It was really terrifying. Chuan overheard their conversation, and it made him thrilled that there would be a lot to kill. In the forest. Chuan stopped walking. He could sense someone following him. The person who has higher spiritual power, their perception were also heightened. Chuan just stood there. A knife was thrown at him from behind. He sidestepped to evade the knife without looking back. The 3 men stepped out from the shadows. The man who threw the knife was a 9th stage apprentice realm. He wondered if Chuan dodged his attack just from pure luck. The fat man with them replied that just as Xing guessed, the brat really tried to leave the city. They assumed he was planning to ditch his parents and run away. The 3rd man revealed to Chuan that they had been watching him for days and was instructed by Xing that as soon as he leaves the city, they would sever his tendons and drag him back. Chuan grabbed his knife. The system registered the new weapon. Each pig killed with it grants 0.3 free attribute points. He was surprised to learn that the attribute points tripled. It used to be 0.1, so it just means that he had a great blade. He showed them his new baby, the Dragon Slayer blade. The man with the knife asked him again what he called it. He replied it was called the Dragon Slayer. That made those 3 laugh. They teased him for the name and the idea that he thinks of himself as a Dragon Slayer. But he replied that he wasn't. Actually, I'm no legendary hero. Then, our boy's expression changed. With this psycho expression, he uttered, "I'm just a pig butcher." They continued to laugh at him, but the guy on the back started sweating heavily. They found him hilarious and had lowered their guard. They didn't even notice him appearing beside the fat guy. In an instant, Chuan slashed the neck of the fat guy. He bled a lot. The system registered him slaughtering a two-legged pig, and that gave him plus 5% experience, 1% bonus damage to pigs, and 0.3 free attribute points. The other two men were horrified that the fat guy was dead in an instant. They didn't even see what just happened. The man with the knife immediately bolted. He couldn't believe how fickle he was for just leaving him behind. Before he could even finish his sentence, Chuan had already cut his head off. The system registered him slaughtering a two-legged pig, and that gave him plus 5% experience, 1% bonus damage to pigs, and 0.3 free attribute points. The man who left was frantic. They couldn't even see Chuan's movements. He knew that his strength was beyond what he could handle. He saw him as a freaking monster. But fortunately for him, he has confidence in how fast he runs. But to his surprise, he was stabbed from behind. Chuan threw the knife at him. Then he dropped dead. After that, Chuan went to retrieve his knife, and for the third time, the system registered him slaughtering a two-legged pig, and that gave him plus 5% experience, 1% bonus damage to pigs, and 0.3 free attribute points. He told them that they were the one who attacked first. He saw something in the man's pocket. It was a skill scroll. He was happy to have a surprise bonus. He acquired a beginner movement skill called Shadow Ghost Step, wherein upon activation, his agility would increase by 30% for 30 seconds. Even if it was a beginner's scroll, getting free stuff was always good. Suddenly, he heard a monster. He got cautious, so he jumped to a branch of a tree and waited. A monster approached the corpses. The monster had 6 pairs of eyes, long tongue, sharp teeth, and dark, spiky fur. Chuan got curious on what kind of creature was that. Several of them got lured by the corpses. Chuan saw him eat humans, and with that reasoning, he couldn't let it live. He used Shadow Ghost Steps to jump from one tree to another. His agility had increased by 30%. The creature saw him approaching. It released its spikes towards him. He blocked it using his arm. Then, he slashed the creature. The spikes pierced his body and it hurt, but he treated it as having acupuncture. The system registered him killing a spiked pig, which gives him plus 5% experience, 1% bonus damage to pigs, and 0.3 free attribute points. He was at 80% experience remaining to progress to Climbing Pond Realm. Something caught the attention of the strange creatures. They walked towards it. Chuan dropped on all fours to mimic them. Those creatures find it strange, but they just walk past him. But the last one saw him. It came close to his face and got spooked. Chuan took the chance to slash it. The system notified him of plus 5% level points, 1% bonus damage to pig-type enemies, 0.3 free attribute points. Chuan approached the other one and slashed it before it could do anything. Again, the system notified him of plus 5% level points, 1% bonus damage to pig-type enemies, 0.3 free attribute points. After that, Chuan pulled out the spikes from his body. After the last one was taken, the system notified him of 70% experience remaining to reach the Dengtang realm. He was determined to reach that level that day, so he walked deeper in the woods. Suddenly, an aggressive rhino appeared. It was a rhino monster, and it was about to eat him. It charges towards him. But Chuan was faster than it, so he had slashed it before it could harm him. Because of that, he gained plus 5% level points, 1% bonus damage to pig-type enemies, 0.3 free attribute points. The rhino's body dropped dead, but he noticed it move. He watched it being dragged. He was confused if it came back from the dead. Then he realized someone tried to steal his loot. He followed it towards the source to kill it. He jumped down on a pit where several creatures were wrapped in webs, and the spider showed up behind Chuan. It was about to attack him, but at the last minute, he deflected its fangs. He was surprised at what he saw. It was a large spider with golden legs. He called it a gold-plated spider. The gold caught his attention. He decided to take its nice legs. It suddenly attacked him. Out of instinct, he was able to deflect the legs using his knife. After that, the spider suddenly wrapped him with webs, and then it stabbed his leg. He fell face down and vomited. He was poisoned by a tarantula venom. It will cause neurological damage and induce a state of frenzy. He wriggled. And while his mouth was frothing, he tried to break free from the web. Then he glared at the spider, who got spooked by how he looked. Then he slashed it continuously while his mouth was foaming. He continued like crazy. The spider got furious and attempted to hit him, but it was startled when Chuan pulled the web from its butt. Then he raised his knife and butchered the spider. Chuan's eyes glowed brightly while he screamed out loud and moved his knife. When he was done, he fell on his back. He just reached the Deng Tang realm. His strength, agility, and spirit all have 100 plus each. An hour later, he cooked the spider. He had no idea how he had leveled up, and he felt so exhausted. He read his current stats. Apparently, he woke up and found the spider dead right next to him. But then, when he was about to take a bite of the food, a sexy woman-like creature with 2 horns appeared beside him and told him that it smelled amazing. She asked if she could have some. Chuan turns to her. Any man who meets her gaze is hers to command. She expected him to become a good boy and be her pet, but Chuan simply replied that if she wanted some, she should go hunt some for herself. What he had was barely enough for him. She was confused about what was happening. Her allure didn't work on him. Chuan saw her as a pig. But he's confused on why she had horns. She replied that he doesn't need to share, but she had some questions for him. His speech was muffled because his mouth was full of food, but he asked her what she wanted. She asked him if he saw a blood crystal twin flower anywhere around the area. She'd been cultivating that thing for decades, and her pet was killed too. She asked if he knew who took it. Chuan realized that he was the one who did all that. The woman already knew it was him, but he denied it. She watched him with a doubtful expression. Then he informed her that he knew who it was. He told her that it was stolen by a despicable human named Liu Xing. He informed her that Xing was the one who killed her cute little snake, and that he even asked him how he could do that to an adorable little snake, but he wouldn't listen. She replied that he'd go find him. Then she left. But after a single step, she looked back with a furious expression and asked him if he took him for an idiot. She attacked her with her claws, but he blocked it using his knife. She revealed that she remembers the scent on him. Otherwise, she wouldn't track him down. He argued that if she knew that it was him all the time, she shouldn't have forced him to lie about it. She was annoyed that he acted like the victim. She exudes power from her body. Then she hanged him upside down. She demanded to know where her flower was, or he'd be strangled to death. He activated the blood shadow butcher. Her eyes turned red, and she saw an image of her being tied up, placed on a chopping board, and he was about to butcher her. That terrified her. She needed to scratch herself just to get out of the illusion. With that slight distraction, Chuan was able to break free and ran away. He told her that she could have the meat and the spider legs as a fair trade for the flower. She chased after him. Chuan ran as fast as he could because he knew that girl was the embodiment of trouble. If he can't get away, he'll have to use his secret move. She closed their gap in a blink of an eye. Unfortunately, they caught the eye of an ape. This windfire ape blocked Chuan's path. It was about to squish him to death. Fortunately, he was able to jump away. Then it saw the woman. It acted aggressively. The woman told it to get lost. She strangled it. Then she scratched the side of its face. It fell to its knees and screamed out loud. Then it dropped dead. After that, the woman faced Chuan. He gripped his knife with 2 hands. She got startled as she somewhat knew what technique our MC was about to use based on his form. Chuan lifted the knife into the air using 2 hands. He started exuding a dark aura around him. With a dead serious expression, our boy uttered, "Fallen Star." She recognized that skill. She couldn't believe it because there was no way anyone still knew about it. She thought that he's just bluffing, but still she couldn't risk it. If he actually knew it, then she'd be dead. Meanwhile, a sexy lady called Uncle Qian and informed them that something was going on up ahead. Those two were surprised when someone else showed up, a woman and 2 men. The horned woman admitted that she didn't expect Chuan to have a backup. She thought he lured her there intentionally. She warned her that she'll remember what he had done. Then she fled. Honestly, she felt relieved to have an excuse to back out, while Chuan was left dumbfounded. He just stood there. The man with the sledgehammer saw the defeated ape. He reported to the woman whom he called Ms. Jiang that the windfire ape that had just escaped from them was killed by the kid. Chuan explained that it had nothing to do with him, that he was just passing by. Jiang asked what his name was. Chuan could tell that she's trying to pin it on him, and his problem was no one was going to believe him no matter how he explained it. He introduced himself and sought a chance to explain. But Jiang grabbed his hand and expressed that she wanted to invite him to join their 9 Heavens Alliance. He was irked with the pig hands. Then, he remembered that the 9 Heavens Alliance was one of the 3 great powers in Qingcheng. The old man with a sledgehammer inspected the ape's corpse and expressed how he couldn't believe that a 7th-rank Dengtang realm windfire ape was one-shot by Chuan. He could tell he has a lot of potential. He told him that they were recruiting members and he wouldn't regret joining them. Chuan realized that the snake woman's strength was terrifying. If she could one-shot a 7th-rank Dengtang realm, it means she would come after him again. He knew it wouldn't hurt to have some backing. Jiang asked for his decision. She expressed that they planned to take on the Blazing Blade King and they're desperate for strong fighters. He asked who the Blazing Blade King was. Jian was surprised that he didn't know. She was under the impression that he's in a combat class. She explained that professions were divided into Apprentice Realm, Dengtang Realm, Master Realm, and Grandmaster Realm. Each realm was then split into 9 minor ranks, and once he breaks through the 9th Grandmaster Realm, he can be crowned a king. The Blazing Blade King was one of those King Realm monarchs. Chuan inquired about the reward for beating him. The one-eyed man commented that he's truly clueless. He explained that when he defeats a King Realm expert, he can inherit their title and realm. He pointed out that it's not a challenge that any random trash could take on. Chuan interpreted that as he could become crazy powerful overnight, so he's going to give it a shot. He decided to join the Nine Heavens Alliance. Zhang was pleased. Now that they have a new team member, they're one step closer to success. But the one-eyed man seemed to dislike him. Meanwhile, the uncle pierced its knife to the windfire ape. Chuan inquired if he's skinning it. Zhang replied that he was right. To even get near the Blazing Blade King, they need fire-resistant armor made from the hide of the windfire ape to withstand the heat. Otherwise, the second they set foot in the territory, the Fentian Valley, they'll be melted by the heat wave. They were about to skin it when they first saw it, but they never thought it would chew through its chains and escape. Chuan shared that he's an expert in skinning. She was surprised that he knew how to skin. He responded that he's a professional. He jumped to the ape's chest, then he took out his knife and started skinning. 1 minute later, he presented it to them. It was done cleanly. The ape looked like a titan from Attack of the Titans. Then he packed the skin. Their jaws dropped upon seeing it. It was way too professional. Zhang saw his pure talent. She even blushed. The uncle carried the hide and they made their way. Now that they have the hide, they just need to go back and craft the fire-resistant armor and they'll be set. He was positive that this time, they'll definitely beat the others to the king's inheritance. But someone appeared. 3 men blocked their paths. The man had a logo of a lion on his Chinese collared shirt. It meant that he was from the Thunder Lion Alliance. Jiang wondered what he was doing there. They told her to part with the windfire ape hide. She could tell they knew their move. He couldn't help but notice how sharp she was. And given that she was, she expects them to already be aware if she doesn't hand it over. The uncle threatened them with his hammer. The one-eyed man suggested to give the hide to him, and he'll go get back up. The uncle threw it at him. But the one-eyed man was surprised when Chuan blocked it. He asked him what he was doing and yelled to give it to him. Chuan argues that he was the one who skinned it, so it was obvious that it was safest with him. It made the one-eyed man named Jia Wan angry, but Jiang called him out. The leader of the Thunder Lion Alliance noticed that the Nine Heavens Alliance wasn't united. Jiang couldn't believe that Wan was thinking about the Windfire Ape at a time like that. She confronted him if he dared to betray the Nine Heavens Alliance. He couldn't believe she suspected him, and not the new guy. She argued that the new guy doesn't look like a traitor. The uncle got mad at Wan for betraying them. Wan revealed that he's sick of their high and mighty act and always doing things in their own weird way. He was attacked with the sledgehammer, but he was able to dodge. He admitted that the Thunder Lion Alliance promised to pay him triple and that Punk had just ruined everything. Wan reported to Lord Lei that he almost had it, but now they have to take it by force. The uncle reminded him how he dealt with traitors. But Wan was confident with his speed. Suddenly, Lei took out his weapons and blocked the sledgehammer. Then he ordered Wan to kill the kid and get the hide from him. The uncle was surprised with how his weapon was deflected. He realized that Lei had already broken through the second-rank Master Realm. Lei revealed that they had come prepared to deal with the Nine Heavens Alliance, and with that, not a single one of them would be walking out there today. He attacked them. The uncle tries to block the dual swords with the handle of the hammer. He concentrated his power and tried to hit him. Meanwhile, Wan draws out his weapon. Then, he targeted Chuan, who was clinging to the hide. Wan jumped and changed directions when he saw Jiang drew out her instrument. He told the other men to stop her and not let her play her instrument. Those 2 lackeys shared glances. Then they released a water and fire attack towards her. She struck her Zheng. She was in a pinch since Chuan was just a first-rank Dengtang Realm rookie. She knew he was no match for Wan, who was a 5th-rank Dengtang Realm. Wan expressed that Jiang would pay for her stupidity for bringing trash like Chuan as backup. She yelled at Chuan to watch out, but as Wan comes close to him, Chuan emitted a scary aura. Juan was caught off guard. He felt like a pig that was tied to a cross. Blood Shadow Butcher has been activated and it leveled up to level 3. Chuan attacked him. He used Shadow Phantom Step while he carried the hide. Juan was annoyed that he tried to match his speed. He was confident that he wouldn't be able to touch him. As Juan tries to slash Chuan, Chuan hides behind the bag of hide. Juan couldn't afford to get it damaged. Suddenly, Chuan slashed his leg. He fell on the ground and whined that he played dirty. Chuan got him where he wanted him. His face with a devilish grin was above Juan, who looked so terrified. Jiang saw what happened and she realized that he was something else. He was just a first-rank Dengtang realm, and yet he took out someone who was many ranks higher than him. It led her to think that his profession was a god-tier combat type. Chuan glanced at Jiang, who was also engaged in a fight. She sought his help. He glanced to the other side, where Lei was overpowering the uncle. The uncle screamed loudly when he got electrocuted. Chuan thought that to catch the thieves, he had to take out the king first. So his priority was to take out the head of the Thunder Lion Alliance first. The hammer's handle struck the ground. The uncle was in a dire state from being electrocuted. Lei stated that in the Master Realm, a single rank is a massive gap. He was way out of the uncle's league. Inside his Thunderbolt Net domain, the uncle's body would get more and more paralyzed until he's completely frozen. He pointed his blade at him and told him to go join his teammates. Of course, the uncle got terrified, but Lei was startled when Chuan placed a hand on his shoulder and told him that they weren't dead yet. Immediately, Lei turned to him. Lei had activated Blood Shadow Butcher, and Lei had become a pig that was being electrocuted. He had bitten his tongue and had been attacked by the butcher's blade. Fortunately, he was able to block it with his short sword, but he was terrified and confused. The kid was only at Dengtang realm, and yet he could affect him, who has a god-tier skill. He knew he shouldn't let the guy live. The uncle told Chuan to run, since he's not the opponent and he's worried for him since the gap in their realms was too big. But Lei wouldn't let them escape. He pushed away the knife, and then he kicked Yuan on the chest. Chuan fell quite a distance. Then Lei asked him what realm he was for daring to fight him when that kick was all it took to end him. They didn't notice it, but Chuan grinned. The uncle tried his best to move. For the kid who sacrificed his life to buy him one chance. He had to make it count. He was able to jump and attack Lei. His skill mountain-splitting tyrant hammer enlarged his hammer. Lei coursed some electricity to his blade, and then countered the hammer using that. It electrocuted the uncle so badly. He couldn't move, but he warned Lei not to dare touch Jiang. He warned him that the Nine Heavens Alliance would never let him get away with it. But to Lei, the Nine Heavens Alliance was a complete joke. It wasn't on the same level as the Thunder Lion Alliance. He assured him that they won't kill Jiang since his boys were looking forward to playing with her a little. The uncle tried to provoke him so that they wouldn't touch her. Suddenly, Lei sensed a movement behind him. He turned and got slashed. Chuan used the falling star skill. The uncle's jaw dropped. Lei was surprised that the little shit wasn't dead yet. He also didn't know what the hell was that technique. Chuan felt his gold scale soft armor cracked. If he wasn't wearing it, he'd be truly dead. He planned it along. When Lei thought he was dead, he stopped paying attention to him, and that was the moment he was waiting to strike back. The uncle thought that the kid was a blockhead, but his combat instincts and his actual skills were on a whole different level than his rank. He realized that the kid had to play dead to make Lei lower his guard, and that's the only way he could have landed that hit. It was a great move. Lei realized that there was a hidden master there, so he knew not to stick around. He warned the kid that he would remember him. He made his escape while yelling at them that it wasn't over yet. The uncle was surprised that he ran. Then when he looked at Chuan, he got worried since Chuan was falling. Fortunately, he caught him. Jiang rushed towards them and asked if they're okay. The uncle praised her for knowing how to pick people. He shared that the kid saved his life when it counted and managed to wound Lei, though the bastard still managed to run. He passionately told the kid that he owed him his life. When they get back to Qingcheng, he'll hook him up with whatever he wants, he just names it. Zhang told him not to be a bad influence on Chuan, but she doesn't get it. It was an enemy that even Uncle Qian couldn't handle, and yet a mere first-ranked Dentang realm pulled that off. They sensed someone move. All their heads turned to Jiawan. Qian blocked his path using his hammer. He begged him to spare him. He said a lot of excuses like his wife was pregnant and his mother was sick, so he was desperate for money. Qian told him that for old time's sake, he would take care of his wife. He would even make sure to comfort her every single night. Of course, Wan didn't like that. Without hesitation, Qian smashed his head with his hammer and blood splattered. Qian knew that the Thunder Lion Alliance won't just let it go. They were all injured, and he's afraid that they would be ambushed on their way back to the city. Jiang told him not to worry since she already sent out a distress signal. The Nine Heavens Alliance would be there to get them soon. She gave them recovery pills. She has 2, so 1 for each of them. Chuan knew that thing cost around 50,000, so it made him realize that the Nine Heavens Alliance was loaded. They ate it, and he couldn't help but to comment that it was good. Then he remembered he was kicked. He asked Jiang to use the sonic attack that she used earlier during the fight with the Thunder Lion Alliance. She guessed that he wants to use her sonic attack to train his movement skill. Phantom Shadow Step was a skill he got from a scroll. The only way to level it up was through constant practice. It's also his only movement skill at the moment. If he runs into a real expert and his speed can't keep up, he'll be in big trouble. So, he had to find a way to upgrade the move. Jiang politely told him that he was a great help, but her realm was higher than his, so if she's not careful, he could seriously get hurt. They assumed their position. She asked if he was ready. Qian saw this as a good chance to see what the kid was really made of. He knew that the abilities he showed earlier might just be god tier. Jiang took out her instrument and strung it. She unleashed the sonic attack. When it was near, Chuan used the Phantom Shadow Step, and he was able to evade it at the last minute. He encouraged her to hit him more. Jiang was slightly embarrassed. She couldn't call the sonic attack her specialty if she can't beat a second-ranked Dentang realm. She struck him continuously. He was agile enough to evade it. So she was challenged to do more, and unleash several attacks continuously. Qian could tell that she's getting serious, and it would be a problem if she accidentally kills Chuan. But Chuan's eyes became more focused. Then he evaded the attacks. Jiang and Qian were surprised. He moved effortlessly. He evaded 19 attacks consecutively, but on the last one, he slipped. He's almost hit. He grabbed his knife and tried to defend himself using that. He was being pushed back. But at the same time, he was thrilled. The system notified him that Phantom Shadow Step has been upgraded to level 2. Upon activation, it increases agility by 40% for 1 minute. Jiang was annoyed. She wanted to release another attack, but Qian stopped her. He reminded her that they were just training, so there's no need to go intense. And besides, their people had arrived. They called her name and apologized for being late. She replied that it's fine and informed them that the Thunder Lion Alliance won't cause trouble anytime soon. She decided to head back. She asked Chuan if he's not coming back to the city with them. He replied that he still had something to take care of. She told him to be careful. She would be waiting for him to report to the Nine Heavens Alliance once he got back. She would even have a special welcoming gift ready for him. He watched them leave. Then he rushed back deep in the forest. He hoped that the treasures would still be there. He arrived at the area and saw it. His gold scale soft armor was shattered, so he thought of trading those spider legs for some better armor. He packed it up and left, at their home. He announced to his parents that he's back, but he was surprised. Their home was a mess. He dropped the bag. He turned pale and sweat dripped from his face. He nervously called out to his parents. He saw their photo frame shattered on the ground. He suspected the bastard Liu Xing to have done that. He asked where he had taken his parents, at Qingcheng, the wealthy district. The guards in Liu's estate blocked him. A quiet, dangerous anger radiated from him. He told them to move. The guards became scared of him. Meanwhile, inside the house, Xing was chilling by the pool, served by 2 women in bikinis. On his side was Jinglong, who was practicing his swings. Jinglong looked annoyed. He couldn't forget the time that Chuan hit him. He vowed that the next time he sees him, he's going to wreck him. Chuan kicked the door open and it came flying to him. He crashed beneath it, causing him to cough blood. He thought it was an explosion. Xing was so angry. He asked who has a death wish for kicking down his door like that. Chuan stepped inside. He was ablaze with fury. He walked towards them. Xing stated that he's exactly the person that he wanted to see. His men were tailing him, but they died. He asked if that was his doing. Chuan told him to cut the crap and answer his question. He asked where his parents were. Xing announced that the father pays for the son's lack of discipline, and his parents would bear the consequences of his sins. And while he's at it, he would kill him too, and avenge his subordinates. Jinglong saw his dad came back with a terrified expression earlier, so he wondered if he had done something to Chuan's parents. Chuan grabbed his knife while telling him that his parents were off limits, and he crossed the line. Xing mocked him by saying that he's just a nobody. In a blink of an eye, a fist landed on his face, and he crashed on the wall. He realized that Chuan's aura reached the Dengtang realm in just a few days. Fortunately, he was able to hit 6th rank of Dengtang realm, so the level gap was absolute. Since Chuan dared to challenge him, the kid must have a death wish. He covered himself with granite armor. His agility was reduced, but his strength and defense significantly increased, and he has 40% defense against bladed weapons. Jinglong was still under the door, but seeing that Chuan forced his dad to get serious, he knew Chuan was a dead meat. Xing attacked with a punch. Even when the fist was inches away, Chuan could already feel its force. He used Phantom Shadow Step and got behind him. His blade hit the back of the head. But Xing simply counterattacked with a kick. Chuan crashed on the ground. Xing pointed out that there was an uncrossable chasm between them. Chuan couldn't break his defense, and all he needed was one touch to kill him. The system prompted that the damage received from pigs were reduced by 65%. Chuan sheathed his knife. Xing couldn't believe that Chuan took his full power strike and he's still standing. It defied all logic. Since the blade couldn't cut the armor, Chuan decided to use his fist instead. Xing dared him to try. He was caught off guard. Chuan was already in his personal space and punched him in the gut. The system prompted that damage dealt to pigs was at 500%. Xing was in pain. He couldn't imagine how this kid's punch hit like a cannonball. Chuan punched him again and broke his helmet, causing him to bleed. He lost several teeth, too. Chuan grabbed his head and used Blood Shadow Butcher. He became a terrified pig. Chuan punched him non-stop while telling to reveal where his parents were. Jinglong wanted him to stop because he could kill his dad. He forced himself to stand up to help, but his legs won't move. He knew he'd get killed too. The fear made tears fall from his eyes, snot from his nose, and drool from his mouth. He yelled that Chuan had gone crazy. He begged him to stop hitting. Xing, who was barely alive at that point, responded that his parents were taken by someone else. Chuan couldn't really hold his anger and angrily asked who took his parents. Xing then responded that he really did plan on coming to Chuan's place yesterday to get the $1,000,000, but the second he got there, he saw 3 tall figures in black robes inside their house. Our MC thought that this redhead loser was just lying, so he was about to punch him real hard. But Xing begged and swore that he was not lying. At this point, he was even addressing Chuan as a brother. Apparently Chuan's father looked like he was arguing with them about something. Just a little flashback. Xing really did go to the Yi residence. And there he saw his old best friend really arguing with these unknown figures. One of them noticed his presence and turned his head towards Xing. And then, this one's eyes glared, and it even glowed red. Xing immediately felt the overwhelming pressure from the unknown figure. It was like he was hit with a conqueror's hockey. And then, you guys know it. Xing fainted. One Piece is real, guys, I tell ya. Anyway, back to the present time. Xing continued his story that when he woke up again, Chuan's parents and the black-robed men were gone. Our boy asked if he had some way to prove his story. That's when Xing hurriedly went to his belongings to search for something. It was an item he found in Chuan's house. Then, Chuan took a glance at the item. It was a letter, and it was really addressed for our MC. He ripped it, and slowly opened the letter. The letter was written by his father addressed to him. In that letter, his father admitted that he thought Chuan would live as an ordinary pig butcher, and the 3 of them could live a peaceful and steady life. But on the day he admitted to them that he could see all living creatures as pigs, he knew that fate was playing a cruel joke on them. They decided that they could no longer live by his side, so from then on, he must walk his own path. Chuan had always been a sensible child, so they believed that he could take care of himself. Chi-Yuan told him not to try to find them, because Chuan wasn't strong enough yet, so he wouldn't stand a chance against them. But as long as he lives happily and freely, that would be enough for them. Chuan bawled his eyes out. He knew it was his dad's handwriting. He didn't know it, but before his parents left the letter, Chi-Yuan told his wife not to be afraid because he had grown up well. And it was time for him to walk his own path now. And if Chuan wishes to climb the highest peak, then as his father, he's willing to lay the steps beneath his feet. And if he grows weary of killing and wishes only to live as an ordinary life, then he would bear that burden in his stead. And if one day he reaches the summit, they would surely meet again. Then he left the letter to his beloved son. Chuan left the Liu estate with the letter in his hand. He looked grim. Xing watched him leave. Soon after, Jinglong approached Xing and promised to avenge him. But even him, he was no match for Chuan, so he knew there was no way his son could do it. Instead, he vowed to make him pay the price. He grabbed his phone. and called his cousin. His cousin, who was hurt and was tended by two sexy ladies, answered. This cousin was none other than Lei, the same one who attacked them in the forest last time. Xing wanted him to stand up for him because someone almost killed him. Lei asked who in Qingzheng would dare mess with him. He answered that it was a pig butcher named Ye Chuan. Lei was familiar with that name. It was that damn brat. He agreed to settle the old and new debts together. Meanwhile, Chuan longed for his parents as he picked up their photo in the house. He carried the loot that he had gotten from the forest, while promising his parents that he would find them, no matter where they are. He thought about how those black-robed men were powerful beyond comprehension, since with just one glance from those men knocked out Xing. It made him wonder why his parents got involved with people like that. If he wanted to find them, the only thing he could rely on was the Nine Heavens Alliance. While walking around, he passed by the Ironheart Forge. Master Taishin saw him and asked if his knife was still working properly. Our boy replied yes. Then Taishin saw the thing he's carrying on his back and asked what it was. He looked at him and unpacked it. Master Taishin's jaw dropped upon seeing it. He simply told him that it was a golden venom spider. Master Taishin exclaimed that the thing was priceless. With it, he could enchant his blade. Chuan asked how enchantment is done. Master Taishin explained that the golden poison spider has two attributes, gold and poison. He could extract one of them and refine it into his blade. It would give his weapon an extra effect. Chuan asked why not both. He explained that if he extracted one, the other would dissipate. He's in a good mood, so he'll do the enchantment for free. He made Chuan pick between poison or gold. Chuan chose gold so that if he ever had to sell it, the gold one would fetch a better price. He commented that this kid really knows how to hustle. He took the material and placed it in the forge. He checked its status, and once it had melted, he dripped it on the knife. Then he hammered it. After some time, it was done. The blade of the knife now had swirls of gold in it. He told the kid that he was lucky because he usually charges at least 500,000 for an enchantment job like that, but for that day, it was in the house. Chuan thanked him and took the knife. He could feel that it was a lot heavier. It looked cool, but he had no idea what it actually was. Master Taishin explained that weapon enchantments were usually triggered by the number of attacks, and the gold attribute triggers critical hits. He realized that he made the right choice with gold. Combined with his system talent, it would be a critical hit on top of another critical hit. He gripped it properly and wielded it, but it looked like it wasn't doing anything. So he inspected the knife carefully. Eventually, the system notified him that the butcher knife enchantment was successful. It was at level 1 with passive skill, wherein every 9 swings, the 10th swing deals 200% damage, and as the skill level rises, critical damage increases, and the required number of swings decreases. He thanked Master Taishin and told him that if he ever needs his help with anything, he should just ask. The blacksmith waved goodbye at him as he walked away. It was all Master Taishin could do to help him. Eventually, Chuan arrived at the Nine Heavens Alliance base. It was on a tall mountain, and to get there, he had to ascend a long staircase. He saw someone descending the staircase while he was on his way. The man recognized him and asked what he was doing there. He didn't expect to see Principal Zhao there, so he also asked why he's there. The principal told him not to repeat his question, and he answered that he was there to recommend their students to the Nine Heavens Alliance. Having their students join the Nine Heavens Alliance brings honor to the school. Chuan simply answered, "Oh?" And then Principal Zhou told him not to take it personally when he wasn't on the recommendation list. After all, he wasn't in a combat-type profession. But he couldn't believe that the Nine Heavens Alliance didn't want anyone from the list, even Shu Lingshuan. He commented on how the standards were too high. Then he asked Chuan what he was doing there. Chuan replied that he was doing weighted mountain climbing for his workout. Principal Zhao felt bad for him since he was under the assumption that Chuan had hit a bottleneck in his cultivation. He assured him that it was normal for a life-type profession. He advised him to give up on the combat path and just focus on being a good butcher. Chuan simply agreed to the principle of going right back to butchering pigs. As he was about to leave, the principal sensed something, which made him ask about Chuan's current realm. Chuan replied that he's around the first rank of Dengtang realm. Principal Zhao was shocked. He couldn't believe Chuan reached the Dengtang realm on his own in just a few days, but he couldn't deny that what he sensed was really the aura of the Dengtang realm. Ling Xuan, who has the fastest growth at the moment, and even with his guidance, Xianxir, I just reached the 9th rank apprentice. Even if life-type professions level up easier in the early stages, they shouldn't be leveling that fast. By his calculations, Chuan would have to kill at least 100,000 pigs to achieve that. He called the kid insane. Seeing he was deep in thought, Chuan asked if there was anything else he needed. With great enthusiasm, Principal Zhao invited him to participate in the grand exam competition. He was so close to Chuan that his saliva sprayed on him. Chuan thought that only the top elites from the combat departments of each school were qualified to enter. Principal Zhao confirmed that he was correct. Normally, there was no precedent for a life-type student participating. Their original candidates were Jinglong and Lingxuan. But unfortunately, Jinglong suffered a chest injury yesterday, and he seems to have taken a severe mental blow, so he can't compete. Chuan knew it was the injury from the earlier incident that he was involved in. Although Lingxuan shouldn't have much trouble taking first place individually, the competition was decided by team points. If the other students can't make it into the top 10, one person's glory won't be enough to uphold the dignity of the entire school. In the end, they would still get crushed on the leaderboards. They can't even touch the edge of this year's honor rankings. Chuan wiped off the spit on his face and simply asked what was that got to do with him. He told him that if agrees to compete and manage to break into the top 3, he would grant him any condition he asks for. Chuan thought about what he needed most at the moment. He informed him that it would be 500,000. Principal Zhao told him that as long as he made it into the top 3, 500,000 was not a problem. But deep inside, he knew that a non-combat profession like Chuan, even if his levels were a bit higher, dreaming of ranking top 3 among full combat teams was pure fantasy. And when he fails, he doesn't have to pay the money. Chuan added that he also needed a storage-type spirit weapon. Principal Zhao couldn't help but comment that this kid had the nerve. Storage-type spirit weapons were prizes for the most outstanding students each year. They're worth a fortune. Given that his reply was like that, Chuan had lost interest. Principal Zhao stopped him from leaving and accepted the condition as long as he makes it to the top 3. Chuan had no problem with that. The deal was closed and they went their own ways. Chuan had reached the door to the Nine Heavens Alliance. A muscular guy asked what business he has there. There was a poster that said outsiders were forbidden. Chuan introduced himself and expressed that he's there to see Ms. Zhang. The man laughed at him for thinking that anyone could see her. Suddenly, the door was pushed open, and it surprised the man. Ms. Zhang came out and warmly welcomed Chuan. She told him that she had been waiting for his arrival. She latched onto his arm as she showed him around. The muscular guy's jaw dropped when he saw it. One lucky bastard. Then, she informed Chuan that the South Tower was the residential area, the North Tower was the general section, and the East Tower was the dining hall, and the West Tower was the training ground. And then she pointed at the North Tower where the R mission reception, reward exchange, and recreation happens. Chuan exclaimed that the place was incredible. She guided him to get registered because from then on he's one of them. Suddenly someone pats him on the shoulder. It was Uncle Qian. He was glad that Chuan had finally arrived. He invited him to join him in the North Tower lounge since the massage girls were all top-notch. Ms. Zhang smacked him. She told him that Chuan had just joined, so she better stop trying to corrupt him already. Instead, she ordered him to go fetch the membership that she had prepared for him. Uncle Qian walked away while commenting that she truly doesn't understand men. At the North Tower service zone, the receptionist was surprised that she came in person. Ms. Zhang wanted a black card for Chuan. The black card is the highest tier access pass. It allows free entry into any area of the Nine Heavens Alliance base. She asked if she was certain about issuing him a black card. Ms. Zhang simply told her to do just as she said. The receptionist got to work, and after a few minutes, she handed him a black card. From that day onward, he's an advanced member of the Nine Heavens Alliance. Chuan realized that there were different tiers of cards, and he was being given a black card. Ms. Zhang explained that in the Nine Heavens Alliance, everyone's permissions depend on contribution points. Those were earned through competing missions for the Alliance. Only those with over 100,000 contribution points qualify for a black card. Chuan was impressed. Since she personally recruited him, and because he made a huge contribution during the battle against the Thunder Lion Alliance, he naturally qualified for a black card. And most importantly, he had high hopes for him. She was getting too close to him as if she was seducing him, and that made him uncomfortable because all he could see was a pig. Suddenly, Uncle Qian showed up, and they immediately separated. Both of them got embarrassed, and Chuan could tell that it wasn't right. Uncle Qian gave him the newcomer rewards. That reward was specially prepared by Miss Zhang for him. It was far more luxurious than what any other newcomer gets. He thanked her. She told Uncle Qian that he may leave since she personally plans to guide Chuan to the residential area. They arrived at the Nether Demon Spring building. Chuan was confused because earlier she said that the residential area was in the South Tower. She brought up his injury from the last battle and informed him that the spring could heal his body. She took off her clothes and invited him to get in. Chuan took his shirt off and slowly dipped himself into the water. Ms. Zhang glanced at his body, and something caught her attention. She noticed that he had new wounds. She touched his chest while inquiring if he had run into some danger last night. It made him step away, and then he replied that he just got injured by accident. She changed the topic into thanking him for what he had done last time. If he hadn't been there, the Windfire Ape Hid would have been snatched by the Thunderlion Alliance. In his head, if she really wants to thank him, he would prefer her staying away from him instead. She pointed at the items on the table and instructed him to open it. It would make cultivating inside the Nether Demon Spring more effective. He opened the box and it had a pill. She told him to eat it so he'll get stronger, faster, and tougher. He was suspicious of it, so he asked what it was. To him, it looked like some kind of pig aphrodisiac. She simply replied that he'll know once he had eaten it. So he did. It was pretty tasty since it was chocolate-flavored. In an instant, he felt the effects of it. Suddenly, Chuan emits powerful energy from his body, causing some ripples in the water. It caught him off guard, so he asked what was going on. She explained that it was a Vajra pill, refined by a high-grade alchemist of the Nine Heavens Alliance. Only one pill could be produced every 6 months. It could permanently and greatly strengthen his physical constitution, causing 3 attributes to soar. The system notified him that all his attributes increased by 20 points. He realized that the thing was insane. Also, he received a notification that a high-grade passive skill called Golden Bell Shield can remain active at all times. It blocks 1 fatal blow after being shattered. It cannot be activated again for 12 hours. The Golden Bell Shield activated. Some runes appeared in his body, making him glow in golden-yellow hue. She knew that his golden-scaled soft armor was shattered in the last battle, so this gift was compensation from the Nine Heavens Alliance. He told her that she was so generous that he doesn't know how to repay her. She informed him that it would take about a month to craft the Windfire Ape Hide into fire-resistant armor. So, 1 month from then, he'll have to go with them to challenge the Flameblade King. She hoped that he would play his part. He inquired on how many people will be joining and the success rate. She revealed that it was less than 10%. He was surprised to hear that, since it basically means they're going to their deaths. On top of that, she's the young lady in charge of the Nine Heavens Alliance, so he was curious why she would personally take such a risk. She replied that it's precisely because she's the daughter of the Alliance head that she must go there herself. She doesn't want to live forever in her father's shadow, bound hand and foot. She needs to prove herself, otherwise she'd rather die. Ever since she was young, she would hear people's comments that it was a pity that the head only had a daughter, and that she even looked stupid, so she's an embarrassment to him. Chuan remembered Wan had previously expressed that he couldn't stand the young lady's unreasonable way of doing things. He realized that in a place full of experts, even the daughter of the Nine Heavens Alliance head can't avoid being doubted. She asked him if he's scared. He replied that his dad and mom taught him that if he promises something, he must see through it. She commented that he's a good boy and guessed that he's still a virgin. And since they might die in one of the raids while clinging to him, she suggests that she's willing to satisfy anything he regrets. Then, our GigaChad MC shoved her and got out of the water. He told her that he's not dying yet since he still has more important things to finish. She was left dumbfounded. When Chuan opened the door, he found Uncle Qian on the other side, eavesdropping. Ms. Zhang asked what he's doing. He made an excuse that he came to heal his wounds and didn't know that they were there. He told them that he'll leave right away, but Chuan told him to wait since he had a favor to ask. He wanted him to be his sparring partner. He puts his shirt on and they leave together. Uncle Qian seemed pleased that Chuan asked him that. He empathizes with him on wanting to be stronger, but there was a realm gap between them, so sparring with him could make Chuan suffer badly. Ms. Jian observed them and thought to herself that she made the right bet this time, since the kid has endless potential. At the West Tower training ground, Chuan and Uncle Qian faced each other. Chuan was determined to become stronger because it's the only way he could see his parents again. Just a little longer, and he'll come get them very soon. He urged Uncle Qian not to hold back. That made the man serious. It was great since Chuan was determined to become stronger. 9 days later, Ms. Zhang internally complained that those 2 lunatics did nothing every day except to eat, sleep, and spar. It was like they're possessed, but she would admit that they make people at ease. The match between Chuan and Uncle Qian started. Uncle Qian urged Chuan to become faster. Chuan tried to slash him, but he blocked it, and then he found an opening. He raised his hammer to hit him, but Chuan countered using a skill called Blessed Falling Star. He was enveloped by a golden bell. Uncle Qian was surprised that he didn't dodge when he already warned him that he'd smash him to death in one hit. His hammer shatters the bell. Chuan let out a surprise attack instead. It was such a powerful one that caught Uncle Qian off guard. Chuan's blade was enveloped with aura, and he kept pushing. The audience were all in awe. They were so strong that they were called monsters. They were impressed with Chuan since he's a newcomer, and in just a few days, he's already fighting Uncle Qian to a standstill. Chuan's attack ended, but it marks on the ground from the impact, and it also broke Uncle Qian's hammer into pieces. Uncle Qian was done with fighting. He complained that Chuan would have to compensate him with a new weapon. Chuan apologized and expressed that at the moment, his pockets were cleaner than his face. Basically, he doesn't have the money to compensate him. Ms. Jiang, who was at the back, yelled at them to stop fighting and come eat. The crowd separated so she could pass through. Deep inside, Uncle Qian couldn't believe that the kid shattered his toughest spirit weapon. He realized that the kid was terrifying. Chuan asked her what delicious food she got them. By this time, Chuan's level is 3rd rank climbing to the pond realm. His strength, agility, and spirit were all at 140. Blessing was upgraded to level 2. He has a passive skill wherein every 8 swings, the 9th deals 220% damage. As the skill level increases, critical damage increases, and the required trigger count decreases. Nether Shadow Sweep upgraded to level 3. When activated, it increases agility by 50% for 70 seconds. Blood Shadow Butcher is also at level 3. Uncle Qian whined to Ms. Jiang that he lost a top-grade spirit weapon just from sparring with the kid. He asked what he's supposed to do now. She promised to take him to the spirit weapon vault and let him pick another one that suits him. But first, she wanted them to eat. They were both impressed with the feast laid out on the table. Seeing that the kid had gotten much stronger, she became hopeful that challenging the Flame Blade King would be turned into success. Chuan suddenly informed them that he'll be leaving for a bit tomorrow. They were surprised to hear that, so they asked where he was going. Chuan, who talked and ate at the same time, choked. When his throat cleared, he informed them that he promised Principal Zhao that he would go back and take an exam, and he'll be back in a few days. Randomly, Uncle Qian expressed that after sparring for the past few days, he had grown to like Chuan more and more. With that said, he requested him not to leave and keep training. That made Ms. Jiang hit him in the head. She scolded him for putting Chuan in a difficult spot. She simply told Chuan to be careful, not get injured, and that she would be waiting for him to come back. The next day, they saw him off. While watching Chuan descend, Uncle Qian expressed to Ms. Jiang that he truly liked the kid, and he's absolutely worthy of recognition. He thought of bringing him to that place, but he asked her thoughts on what she thought would happen. She replied that if they could come back alive from Chutian Valley, then that would prove his strength was worthy of going to that place. A few moments later, Chuan arrived at the school gate. One of the girls in the crowd announced that someone was coming. She was pertaining to Ling Xuan. When Ling Xuan passed through, her expression turned bitter. Because she saw our MC, she wondered why he was there too. The girl beside her openly acknowledged Chuan's presence. Then she got mad at him for being there. She accused him of trying to pull some trick to get to Ling Xuan again. But Chuan didn't have any time for this bitch, so punched the wall. He glared at the woman and simply told her to get lost. The woman got spooked, but she continued pretending to be angry and insulting him by saying that a clown seeking attention was ridiculous. Then, a few seconds later, the thing that our MC punched shattered altogether. The woman who just mocked him told Ling Xuan that he was bullying her, and of course this big shot wannabe confronted him and told him that showing off in front of her was useless. He released an attack near him and destroyed the statue even more. Then, Chuan clarified that Principal Zhao invited him to take part in the college entrance tournament, so him being there has nothing to do with her. She was puzzled that the principal invited him when he knew Chuan was a useless loser. She thought the principal had gone crazy. She said that it's impossible for a mere fly to compete with the bright moon. Principal Zhou showed up and confirmed that it was him who invited Chuan to the college entrance exam. He told her that from then on, they would be teammates, so they have to put their grudges and fight for the school's honor. She was shocked. She questioned his worthiness. He whispered to her saying that without that idiot acting as her foil, her strength wouldn't stand out. She realized that it made sense. She told Yuan that if Jinglong wasn't injured, he wouldn't have his turn at all. She warned him not to drag her down. Then she turned away. Principal Zhou reminded him of their deal. Our boy nodded his head in response. Then they headed to the arena. In a moment, the preliminary round would begin there. He already entered their information in the arena system. The rules were simple. Everyone draws lots and fights the contestant with the corresponding number. The winner stays on the platform and challenges the next opponent. In the end, contestants would be ranked by total wins, and the final four standing would enter the final round. Students from the same school will not be matched against each other in the preliminaries. The other students from his academy were relieved to hear that since they won't be drawing Lingxuan and get eliminated right away. Contestants who lose in the preliminaries would still get one more chance to step into another arena to challenge someone else, and if they lose again, they would be completely eliminated. A student assured him that with Lingxuan representing them, first place would definitely belong to their school. Meanwhile, Lingxuan looked forward to this life profession clown to make a fool of himself on the stage. The crowd was hyped up. The camera started rolling. The spotlights were focused on the center of the arena. The host welcomed everyone to the college entrance tournament. She announced that the participating schools are Qingcheng High School, Lingyun High School, Yingchai High School, and Qingyan High School. She told the participants to get ready, adjust their mindset and condition, because their performance would directly affect their future. In the spectator stands are the teachers from Skyvault Academy, Zhenwu Academy, and Taichu Academy to observe every student with potential. Lingxuan had already been chosen by Skyvault Academy, so she made sure she won't disappoint. The first round begins. The matches on Arena 4 had been displayed. Yingkai High School, Lu Kai, an advanced Thunder Shadow Spear cultivator, was matched against Qingqing High School, Ye Chuan, a pig butcher. Everyone was shocked and confused that there's a pig butcher. They thought it was a joke. Principal Zhao glanced at Chuan. One of the teachers watching stated that he recruited students in so many cities, but this is the first time he had ever seen a life profession contestant. He thought Qingcheng High School was that desperate. The female teacher called him Teacher Chin, and she couldn't believe that he just said that. She shared that she recently recruited a promising talent from Qingcheng High School. He replied that Qingcheng High School was a mixed bag of fish and dragons. He added that it was nothing compared to Yingchai High School, where everyone was an elite. Chuan and Kai stood in the center of the arena. Kai shook Chuan's hands while thanking him because he didn't expect Qingqing High School to just hand him a free win. He told him that after he finishes that match, he'll treat him to a free meal. Chuan replied that he's so nice. The referee announced their fight to begin. A man mocked Principal Zhao and asked if Qingcheng High School was really that short on people, since they even sent a pig butcher onto the stage. He said that if Zhao was that desperate, he should have spoken up. Yingchai High School could have lent them a few students. Lingyun High School's principal, Xia Xuan, calmly replied that she felt something unusual about the boy. He carried an aura different from ordinary people. Qingyan High School's principal, Wen Chongwei, agreed, but only because everyone else had combat professions while Chuan had a life profession. He laughed loudly, clearly amused. Principal Zhao was sweating badly. He cursed under his breath and prayed that Chuan wouldn't disappoint him. Kai stepped forward and took his stance, gripping his spear. He began showing off his spear techniques. As an 8th rank apprentice realm cultivator, he believed fighting a life profession would be easy. He thought he could finish Chuan in one move. He was actually disappointed. There wasn't even room to show off properly. So he decided to put on a performance before ending the match. Chuan clapped his hands and praised Kai's spear skills. The referee scolded Kai for wasting time and told him to stop showing off and start the fight. Kai nodded. He warned Chuan not to blame him later. As he attacked, he mocked Chuan, saying if he wanted to blame someone, he should blame himself for being a pig butcher. But Chuan calmly tilted his head to the side, letting the spear brush past without touching him. Kai froze for a moment when he saw Chuan raise his fist. Then, our boy punched him straight in the face. Kai's head snapped back as blood sprayed, his face twisted in shock and pain, and Chuan slammed him down onto the ground. Kai's eyes rolled back. The referee announced Chuan's victory. This right here is the new Saitama. All the principals were stunned. Principal Zhao instantly became proud. He bragged that his school had a god-tier pig butcher. Chuan might not become a top powerhouse one day, but with talent like that, beating normal people was easy. Principal Xia nodded and said he was impressive. Just as she expected, Chuan was not ordinary. Meanwhile, Teacher Qin grew very interested in this pig butcher. He felt it was a shame. If Chuan had a combat profession, he would be an amazing talent. He noticed how Chuan's movements flowed smoothly, like water, and that punch didn't even look like it used 1/10 of his strength, yet it easily defeated a high-rank combat profession. He realized Chuan's true strength was far from simple. The female teacher suddenly remembered Ling Xuan mentioning a useless guy named Chuan who kept bothering her. Now she understood who he was. She said that throughout history, many people tried to fight fate using life professions. Every single one failed in the end. So in her eyes, Chuan was just another fool. She told teacher Qin not to waste attention on him. The next match was announced. In Arena 4, Qingyan High School's Xiao Jiji, an intermediate fire cloud mage, would face Qingcheng High School's Ye Chuan, the pig butcher. Flames roared. They burned brightly in Gigi's hands. Chuan walked closer, curious, and asked if Gigi's hands hurt from being on fire all day. Gigi shouted at him to shut up. He warned Chuan that he would soon learn how hot they really were. Principal Wen sneered and said this joke would finally end. He boasted that his student reached 9th rank apprentice realm in just 3 months, and that he was about to break into the climbing pond realm. Principal Zhao calmly replied, and proudly said that his student had already reached 3rd rank climbing pond realm. The old man froze in shock. He thought Zhao was joking. While they were still talking, Gigi lost. The referee announced Chuan's victory. Principal Wen stood there in disbelief. He questioned whether the boy truly awakened his profession this year. Meanwhile, Ling Xuan also won her match. If things continued like this, at least 2 of the top 3 spots would belong to Qingcheng High School. Ling Xuan coldly told Chuan to feel lucky that the first round didn't match students from the same school. Principal Xia warned Principal Zhao not to celebrate too early. In Arena 1, the next match was Qingyan High School's Lu Wan versus Qingcheng High School's Xu Lingxuan, the Snow Soul Sword Immortal. The small, chubby girl smiled and asked Ling Xuan to go easy on her. Ling Xuan stared back coldly and told her not to act friendly, and that she would not go easy on a kid. Principal Zhao was shocked that they sent such a small girl onto the stage. He asked if she was even 18. Principal Zi, already annoyed, shouted yes. And she warned them not to underestimate her, because she was one of Lingyun High School's seed contestants. In short, this tiny girl right here is their ace. The match began. One of the spectators leaned forward, silently hoping that Ling Xuan wouldn't disappoint. Ling Xuan drew her sword. As the blade cleared its sheath, tiny snowflakes spiraled into the air around her. Wan reached out and touched one of them. She frowned, confused. Why was it snowing? That single moment of distraction cost her everything. Ling Xuan slashed across Wan's body in a blur of steel. Blood sprayed across the arena. Ling Xuan scoffed, declaring that Wan wasn't even worth a proper strike. In her eyes, Wan was even more useless than Chuan. Principal Zhao shook his head and commented that it was far too easy. So easy it was almost embarrassing. He glanced at Principal Xuan and admitted that he'd thought they were about to bully a child. But Principal Xuan didn't look away. He was waiting for what came next. The referee suddenly pointed toward Wan. Ling Xuan followed his gaze and froze. The small girl's body twisted and expanded, her frame swelling into a massive, muscular woman. She had activated the Berserk Blood Warrior. Now, it was her turn to strike. Ling Xuan felt nothing but disgust, and then annoyance. She rushed forward. Wan threw a punch. Ling Xuan raised her sword and blocked it. The impact detonated like an explosion, sending Ling Xuan flying. Mid-air, Ling Xuan realized the truth. This strength was monstrous. Wan leaped after her. Her knee slammed down, nearly shattering Ling Xun's bones. Ling Xun crashed to the ground, horrified. She knew that if that blow had landed cleanly, she would have died. Wan ripped a massive chunk of earth from the arena floor and hurled it straight at her. Ling Xun sliced it apart. Then she activated her snowy phantom skill. 2 icy phantoms formed beside her and charged at Wan. Wan was forced to deal with them head-on. She smashed the phantoms apart with her fists, while Ling Xuan repositioned and stabbed Wan's arm from behind. She drove the blade deeper until the sword pierced straight through. A smug smile spread across Ling Xuan's face as she called Wan a freak and declared that it was over. Ice rapidly crawled over Wan's shoulder. Ling Xuan calmly explained that soon, the snowflakes would freeze her entire body, and once that happened, she wouldn't be able to move at all. Wan reached out. She grabbed Ling Xuan using the arm covered in ice and coldly told her that she was underestimating the rare Berserk Blood Warrior. Ling Xuan's blood ran cold. Wan's arm was injured. She shouldn't have been able to move it. Fear hit her when she realized the heat surging from Wan's body was melting the ice. The punch smashed into Ling Xuan's face. Wan's grip tightened like iron, and Ling Xuan couldn't break free. Principal Zhao stared in disbelief. It looked like Ling Xuan was about to lose. Meanwhile, Principal Xuan roared in excitement, urging Wan to beat her to death. Ling Xuan panicked. She screamed and begged for someone to save her. Then she noticed Chuan standing to the side. He was clapping. Our boy was freaking clapping. I guess karma's a bitch, huh? And with a grin, he said it was a nice hit. The female teacher watched closely. She was the one who scouted Ling Xuan, so she expected her to counterattack with some kind of ultimate move. Wan was about to deliver a heavy blow. Ling Xuan panicked. She could only shut her eyes. But the fist that hit her cheek was weak. She froze. Even Wan looked stunned. She's back to her original chibi form. The berserk blood effect had ended. Ling Xuan seized the chance to retaliate. She was furious that Wan had dared to hit her face, but the small girl suddenly ran to the referee and announced her surrender. Ling Xuan exploded in anger. She mocked the little brat and told her to keep fighting. However, the referee had already declared Xu Ling Xuan the winner. Wan stuck out her tongue. The principal applauded. Principal Zhao commented that even though Ling Xuan won, if the ability had lasted a little longer, the result would have been uncertain. He hadn't expected Lingyun High School to have such a powerful student. Ling Xuan sneered. She wondered why Chuan still hadn't been eliminated. She complained that it was unfair. Every opponent she faced was tough, while his opponents were all weak. She had planned to save her full strength for the finals, but now she had no choice but to reveal her true power. Her expression turned serious. Principal Xuan announced that all of Lingyun High School's seeded contestants had been eliminated, meaning they likely wouldn't place in the top 3 this year. She excused herself. Leaning close to Principal Zhao, she whispered that compared to Ling Xuan, she was actually more optimistic about that pig butcher. Principal Changwei added that after the last match, Ling Xuan didn't seem as strong as everyone claimed. He hoped Liu Chen would face her in the finals. The host announced that Yingkai High School's Liu Chen had won. A massive sword hilt pinned his opponent to the ground. Liu Chen said calmly that if this weren't a match, the man would already be crushed beneath the sword hilt. The poor guy screamed and coughed up blood. Chen lifted his hand. The sword moved with him. It flew back into the sheath on his back. The large box snapped shut. The girls in the audience screamed in excitement. He was just too handsome. Principal Zhao started to doubt whether Ling Xuan could still take first place with her current strength. But he also couldn't accept the idea of relying on Chuan. The host then announced that Qingyan High School's Ya Nanan had won. She flashed 2 peace signs at the crowd. The man she defeated lay on the ground, groaning. He knew he couldn't beat the eldest daughter of the Xia family. If he pushed things further, people in the audience would retaliate after the match. He chose to give up the ranking. Nanan spotted Chuan. He kicked her opponent aside. Then she walked over to greet him. She said it had been a long time. Chuan was surprised to see her there. She hooked her arm around his. She called him a liar, complaining that he never came to hang out with her. He replied that her family wouldn't allow him to visit. She was shocked and asked who told him that. Chuan explained that they were probably afraid he'd bother her too much. She narrowed her eyes, suspecting Uncle Zhao had been sabotaging her plans. Ling Xuan watched the two of them. She was irritated by that annoying woman. The screen for Arena 1 displayed the next match. Wang Moqi, an advanced elemental mage from Qingyan High School, would face Qingchen High School's Xu Ling Xuan, the legendary Snow Soul Sword Immortal. He mocked her, saying her reputation was nothing but empty fame. Ling Xuan stiffened at his words. The referee announced the start of the match. Moqi smirked and told her to call him Big Brother, and he might go easy on her. Then his expression changed. In the blink of an eye, he was struck in the chest. Slashes ripped across his body as blood sprayed into the air. He never expected her true strength. He collapsed face first onto the ground. Ling Xuan frowned. She silently swore that when the finals came, she would crush both Nanan and Chuan. Thanks for watching, bros. If you enjoyed this update, make sure to drop a like and hit subscribe so you never miss the next chapter we upload here on Manhwa Updater. New episodes from the main Manhwa dealer channel will always land here every week, so stick around and stay updated. And hey, if you want more fire stories, check out the latest upload on the main channel right after this. As always, stay cool, stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next one.